If you want more traffic to your local service business, then this video is for you. We're diving into 4 of my favorite ways to help you get more traffic to your business. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, the #1 place for service providers, entrepreneurs, and side hustlers. And in today's video, we're diving into my favorite strategies to get sales and get your phone ringing. So if you're in a big city and you're fighting with a lot of other companies to really get up into the search results, it's frustrating when you always have to pay for the advertising. Now, advertising is great, but what happens when you have everybody advertising at the same time? Well, you get a higher cost per click and it becomes more expensive and competitive. And not only that, your customers are typically calling a few different people first before they find somebody who they really connect with and they want to purchase from, right? So we're gonna go over some of my best hacks, even if you're in a competitive market. #1, Google Ads. It's not like Google Local. Google Local is great, don't get me wrong. It's really meant for service providers who are providing a service, as Google will guarantee the customer's money back if they're unhappy. And you do have to maintain a rating, kind of like with Angie's List, in order to be continuously shown on Google Local. Now, not everybody can get on Google Local. If you do work with contractors, then there are some guidelines and rules that kind of really don't allow them to be on Google Local. Sometimes you slip through the cracks and sometimes you don't. So just as a backup, and my personal #1 favorite is Google Ads. You have so much control over setting your ad groups, your campaigns, and controlling your cost per click. You could set a lot of negative keywords for all of your competitors and make sure that nobody is clicking on your advertising when you don't offer that service. Now, the #1 tip when it comes to setting up your Google AdWords is to make sure that you have good keywords. So this usually involves your research, right? So by figuring out what services that you offer, don't offer, and all the competitor words that are typically searched for, right? So by keeping track of these lists, you're gonna have a list technically for all of the services that you provide, and again, a list for the services that you don't provide. All the services that you don't provide are gonna go into the negative keywords. So you're not being clicked on for all of those additional services that you don't offer, which is gonna help reduce your cost per click. Now, in addition, you're also gonna put all the competitor search terms, other things that people may search for that you don't offer, all into that negative keyword list. And you should technically review your negative keywords and your search terms, which is what people are typing into Google and click on your ad. So you have all of these analytics inside of the Google Ad platform. Once you review it and you see all these keywords that are bringing irrelevant traffic, just by clicking on the box and adding it to your negative keyword list, it's gonna help lower your cost per click and make sure that you are having more relevant search and targeted customers. My second one is one of my favorites, and it's actually funny because it brings it back to when I first started back in 2015. So I first started in California, my service-based business, in 2015. But when I was younger, my mother had always restarted a new cleaning business every single time we've moved. And I'm military, so I'm a former military police officer, right? So not only that, but we moved a lot in my childhood. And the #1 go-to thing for my mother, every time we would move, would be to start a new cleaning business. So I had seen her restart and restart and restart a new business every single time. And the #1 go-to was flyers every single time. That had started the business and scaled it up so much more. She was not really a tech person. She didn't really do Google Ads or any type of advertising. It was flyers. And that got her generating a minimum of $5K a month just to initiate her business in a new city on a repetitive basis. Now, my tip for working with flyers is to go on to the postal website. I'll include a link in the description below. I don't know it off the top of my head, but you're able to really check the zip code and check the age. If they're homeowners, you could see their income and make sure they're able to afford your service. Now, this is a great tip for something that is targeted in a more higher amount. If you don't have some low cost offer and you have something at least 300 and up, then it's really good to target by income when you're handing out the flyers. So we typically went door to door and we left a flyer with a piece of it underneath the mat so it didn't fly away, and just be careful, so not give a flyer to anybody who says do not solicit. But that was our go-to method back in the day, and it is great for areas and cities that have a lot of different companies. It's gonna help build brand awareness, and I definitely recommend it. My third favorite is posters. Have you ever driven as you're going somewhere to work in the morning and then all of a sudden you see somebody on the sidewalk flipping a sign, and it's like, buy one, get one, special, book now, 50% off the jewelry, store closing, and all these other type of signs and posters. Now, these are great for local stores to boost brand awareness, whether the customer is ready to buy right then and there or they're just ready to buy at a later time. So these are great. It's not like they're gonna buy instantly, some may, but when they think of needing a pizza or when they think of wanting jewelry that's 50% off, yours is gonna be the first that pops into their mind. They're most likely not gonna hop onto Google at that point. They already have you in their memory, and they're typically gonna go to you and your store. So we did this back in 2015 and it was awesome. We got a lot of people who were telling us that, yeah, we saw your poster. Yeah, we saw that guy flipping a sign, and it really brought in traffic for our business. And I definitely recommend it. Again, you're not really having to pay for advertising, but you are having to either post it onto a telephone pole or another area, or having somebody flip a sign. So there is an expense typically, but some tips for you that I have on that is just to really make sure that you have letters that are dark enough to see from a distance. Make sure that your numbers, your words, and you have a big sign. Don't skip on it and go little, because when somebody's in a car, it's harder to see. So make sure that you definitely keep in mind of the contrast and the size when you're doing that, for sure. My fourth favorite way to get paid customers is to ask for referrals. So if you don't have a referral program or you don't have anything going on, maybe you need more clients, I would definitely start with the existing customers that you already have. If you have an offer that is irresistible for the client to send a referral to get an incentive, then it's a no-brainer for the client, and they're gonna recommend you if they enjoy your services. So a few tips for this one is just to make sure that it is easy. Make sure that you're not really telling the client to get a referral. It's typically really good if you had them just reply back with a few phone numbers or reply back with the information, and you can go ahead and give them an incentive and you'll do the footwork, right? So the less footwork that you make the customer do, it's gonna be a little bit easier. Now, that is one way to do it. Another way to do it is just to simply say, if you refer a friend, here's a discount code that they could use and you'll both get a discount. That's typically another alternative. So there's lots of ways that you can do it. Just make sure the offer is irresistible and that they want to do it. So by now in this part of the video, you've already learned my favorite ways to go ahead and get more paid clients. Whether you're advertising or you're competing in an area that has a lot of other industries in your niche. There are a lot of different ways that you could advertise, but these are my top favorites and I hope you enjoyed them today. Just to recap, we have Google Ads, flyers, posters, and referrals. If you implement these, you will definitely see a boost in your sales as well. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.